Good evening. It's Wednesday evening and time for Keto Confab. I'm Elizabeth Hanson, your host, along with my husband, Dr. Scott Hanson. We're from North Dakota, and I've been doing keto for a year and a half now. I've been able to lose 100 pounds and bring my blood pressure down and reverse my fatty liver and take care of some aches and pains and things that I had with keto. And my husband, who is not at all overweight, listened to the science from Dr. Boz and decided that maybe this was a way for a healthier lifestyle for him, even though he didn't have a fatty liver or was pre-diabetic or hypertension or anything like that. But he felt the science was right, which is good because he's a biologist and teaches anatomy and physiology. And that's how we got here. And we decided to start this support group for very selfish reasons, because basically I need support. And also because we felt we needed to help the community stay keto and evangelize the word of keto and the lifestyle and how healthy it could be. But we are not perfect. I particularly cheat. Chocolate and cheese are my two very favorite things. And they can cause many problems. And recently I had a little bender for a couple of days that made me pretty ill and caused some heart racing problems and dizziness and weakness and everything, because I went a little crazy on the cheating. And but thankfully recovered. And starting over back into ketosis, thankfully. And so here we are. And so this week has been good. As the people who have been here before, we are working on getting ready to be gone on a vacation in a couple of weeks. And we've been looking for foods that can easily travel, because we're going to be going and visiting various monuments and things in South Dakota. And so last week we reviewed some chocolates that are keto friendly. This week I actually tasted them. I had just bought them the day before our meeting last week. This week I've tasted them, and there was a brand that was really bad. Really, really bad. I mean, it is keto friendly, but it is so bad. It's even more keto friendly because it's so bad you don't want to eat it, and if that's chocolate, absolutely no one would want it. And let's see, I have it here. It's wonderfully low carb, but it's even more low carb when you don't eat it.
And the other thing that I can point out too is that if you'd like to, we have the last week's session, of course, Keto Confab group, the video of that up on the YouTube channel. So, those of you who weren't here last week, you can go back to that and watch that again and see, because we went into detail about, which brands they were, and she had them on the camera and stuff like that. And Becky, you got all of these at Walmart, right?
These were all available at Walmart.
These at Walmart? Okay, right.
Yeah. This brand, Alter Echo.
It can be used for chocolate. What do they call that when you want to get someone?
Yeah, what's that?
Yeah, you want to form a negative habit, a habit of avoiding something.
Yeah.
Chocolate.
If I want to totally turn myself away from chocolate, I will eat this every day, and then I will beg. So it does have a purpose. Yeah, yes, it has a purpose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very useful purpose.
Yes.
You can use it as a way to punk somebody.
Yeah.
Chocolate aversion therapy. There you go. Aversion
chocolate
therapy.
Aversion therapy. It's 85% cacao and it doesn't have any ingredients that I'm allergic to because I have a lot of allergies and sensitivities. And it's only 8 carbs for a serving, which is half the bar, which is wow. That's, oh, I can have half a chocolate bar and it's only 8 carbs. Oh, that's wonderful. No, until you put it in your mouth, then oh, it's really bad. So, okay, just forewarned, bad, very bad.
We're not sure
So,
which ingredient tastes bad, right? Because
yeah,
the ingredients are similar to the other things. Maybe it must be the process that they go through to make it. I don't know.
I have no idea, but that was bad. So anyway, that was bad. Um, so that was the low light of my week, trying that chocolate. But the highlight was there was one brand that is quite tasty and surprisingly to me, because you know those big bars of Hershey's chocolate, you know, and they say they're like 4 servings. I used to like, you know, those milk chocolate bars. I used to be able to eat an entire one all at one time and just still look for more chocolate. Um, this one is tasty and it's salty. The Theo brand, tasty and salty. And I think the salt of it makes me feel satiated with just one piece. I've never eaten an entire serving of this, but I've been happy. I've been like, yeah, there's that bite of chocolate that I can have and be happy and move on. And so this is my new friend. Um, and this one is 14 carbs for a third of the bar. But like I said, I'm happy with one bite. And I'm like, I've never been happy, satiated, you know, ready to be done. And I found this does not throw my ketosis off terribly with just the one bite. Now, maybe if I ate the whole serving, but with just the one bite, I'm not thrown out of ketosis. So, oh, it's my new friend. So there we go. um, Other than that, just doing my thing. I usually, you know, Demas was talking before we began the meeting that he's working on, you know, thinking about fasting and intermittent fasting and when to plan meals. I just plan not to eat until 2 or 3 in the afternoon. And usually I'll have eggs or tuna at that time. And then I want to eat around 6 in the evening again, and I'll usually have half of a pork steak and some broccoli or asparagus or something at that time, or tomatoes, and then I'm done for the day. And the it to me, it matters more what I eat at the end of the day as to whether my body can go a long period of time until I eat again. And I found that the pork steak is what takes me the longest. The eggs are great. They have great fat and B vitamins and potassium and all sorts of things in them. And they're great for protein. And they're wonderful when I break my fast. But what I have a videotape, you know, one of the videos I watched of Dr. Siwa's, the carb addiction doctor on YouTube. He said, let your liver feed you in the morning because your liver has reserve glycogen and everything in it. Let your liver feed you in the morning. And he says, then you're good.
If I may,
Yeah, go ahead.
I had an issue with the dawn effect, is what you're referring to.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's the body's way of preparing you for the day. The liver dumps glucose into your bloodstream. But for me, I'm diabetic, so so for me, it would dump sugar into my system, and my sugar would go up to 250 until 10:30 in the morning. So I was reading or listening to one of her videos, Dr. Ba's videos, and she suggested eat the last meal of the day needs to be 16 hours before that effect takes place. 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. So I don't eat after 1 o'clock because it works. I don't eat after 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock at the latest. So yeah, so that's why I was trying to do the one meal a day, but the one meal, yeah, the one meal a day was it's too much. It's too much for me. So uh so what I did this morning is I had breakfast. What I did this morning, I had a quarter pound of bacon. I had bacon this morning, and I was fine. At lunchtime, I had the rest of it. I had some cheese. I had some butter. I had 4 tablespoons of butter. I try to get, according to, I use the keto diet app, and it suggested 135 grams of fat a day.
Okay.
And yeah, so I get close to that or right on that. So, but it just, it's too much for me to do, and maybe over time I can develop that, but right now it's too much. So I'm doing the morning and noon time, and that's it. Those are my meals for the day.
Go ahead,
Venus, you
Renee.
might want to do what I've been trying. Every morning, my quote breakfast is a cup of coffee and an entire avocado. And then I don't have my, like what you're talking about, the actual meal a little bit later. And it gets me a jump start on my fats and my vitamin E. And it keeps me full. So that might be another idea. I mean, I don't know for your metabolism, but that's the one that works for me.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, no, hey, anything's worth a try. Yeah, sure. When you're saying avocado, are you saying the small avocados, or are you saying the large avocados?
It's the regular sized avocado. I mean,
What's a regular size avocado?
Whether it's small or large, it's just the individual avocados you buy at the grocery store, like Walmart.
Right. Well,
so I'm assuming that's large.
Well, that's the question, because the Mexican avocados, which I found them at Walmart. I don't care for the Mexican, first of all, but they're small. They're small. They're probably like this. That, if you can make that out.
Yeah.
Where the Spanish ones that I get from Puerto Rico or from Florida or even California, they're big.
Yeah.
They're big.
Okay, well then what I'm eating is a small one.
Okay. Yeah, no,
yes.
these things are, I wouldn't be able to eat a whole one, although I love them. Just give me some salt and slices of that and I'm in heaven. It's so good.
Yeah.
That's it. Works perfect for keto.
So, Demas, you mentioned that you've been doing keto on your own for about 3 years, and then you're new to Dr. Boz's Continuum. Did you start keto because of your diabetes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And has your A1C and everything improved?
Well, that's the thing. Like I said, consistency is an issue with me.
Oh, okay.
So I would do it for a while and then I'd leave it. I'd never leave the diet per se, but the fasting regimen, I have issues with. I eat most of the time. I'm eating keto stuff. The fat is the main source, and no carbs or very little carbs. I started off doing 20, and then over time, I just find myself pulling away from the carbs, mainly because it's too much of a tease, So I just give it up. Once in a while, I'll have like a half a slice of bread, toast or something, and with butter on it. It's hard to break old old ways of, we've lived this way for so long, it's the
Mhm.
American diet. So, but yeah, so I have been doing it for a while, but as I say, not religiously or, but I've learned to cut myself slack, it's
Mhm.
just, you do the best you can, and
Mhm.
anything that you do in that direction is an improvement. I'm just trying to, my goal was to get off of insulin, and it still is. Um, my numbers are much better than they were before. Before I was giving myself 10 to 12 units fast acting whenever I ate. And I dropped that once I got into the keto diet, and I was taking the long acting. I was taking 90 units of Levemir every night. So
Mhm.
I was in tough shape. I was in
Mhm.
tough shape, but enough already. So that's what drove me to give anything a try, and it works. It does work. I mean, my sugar numbers right now are 90, so I can't complain.
Mhm.
And with the dawn effect under control, I'm doing okay. So it
Mhm.
varies. It goes from 90 to 125,
But those are
130.
still really good numbers for a person who's been using insulin for years.
Yes,
And,
yes.
because you have a history of insulin usage, it is going to be harder to get all of the blood sugars to be consistently in the range that we want to, because unfortunately, the insulin assists the body in storing that glucose, that glycogen, and everything. So,
That's right. That's right.
yeah.
No, that's right. Yeah.
So,
Actually, in the last week, and I can't give you a reason for it. I've been playing around with um, the. I don't know if I'm talking too long here. I don't want to hog
no,
up the
you're
show.
fine.
um, I was having issues with the dawn effect about less than 2 weeks ago, and I asked my doctor, "Can I drop the long acting and just give myself a short acting shot in the morning, as if I was going to have a meal when that dawn effect takes place?"
Uh-huh.
And he said, "We'll give it a try." So I did. I got the medication, got the insulin, and started off. I lasted 3 days on that because it took care of the dawn effect. It took care of the dawn effect to a good degree. It didn't it kept it from going too high,
Mm-hmm.
which was fine. But at the same time, it would drop for no particular reason in the afternoon, like twice in the afternoon, it would drop down to 40. And it
Oh,
was like, yeah. So
okay.
I was on this roller coaster. And by the third day, I said, no, I'm not doing this, because I felt terrible. I just
Yeah.
felt weak, and just like somebody just knocked the hell out of me. So I dropped it, and I woke up at 1 o'clock in the morning, and my sugar was 143. And it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, 143. That doesn't happen. It's usually lower.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, that's enough. So I went back to the fast or the long acting insulin, and that's where I am today. So I'm on the long acting insulin, but I started off going with my old dosage of 120 or 26 units at nighttime of the long acting. And I found my numbers during the night would be dropping again.
Mm-hmm.
So I cut it back. I started at 126, and tonight I'm going to do 112, because I wake up at nighttime and I'm still getting these low numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm cutting back my insulin, and I can't tell you what it is that changed, because I haven't really changed anything.
Okay.
Um, so I don't know. Um, but it was a roller coaster ride, and I'm feeling better, although I'm tired. I am
Yeah.
tired. Um, but that's it.
So Renee wanted to say something.
Okay.
I was just gonna interject here really quick. If y'all see me suddenly disappear, it's because we're under a tornado watch and I might have to shut things down, not because I'm gonna be blown away, but kind of want to get to my freighty hole.
Yeah. Renee's
Want
in
to give you a heads up,
Oklahoma.
if all of a sudden I sign off and don't say anything, I'm out of here.
Yeah, Oklahoma, Nebraska, and Kansas are having a pretty bad week this week with storms and tornadoes
Yeah.
and stuff. So
I could see.
we understand, Renee.
Okay.
Demas,
Yes.
couple ideas a couple of things I wanted to ask. How are you on sleep? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you going to bed at a good time?
Not lately with this erratic thing. I'm afraid to fall asleep. It's like, am I gonna wake up?
Yeah,
You know, it's
I'd be concerned too.
yeah. Well, as I found out that when your numbers go that low, when you're on keto under normal circumstances, I mean normal in the sense that you're eating 300 carbs a day for a regular person, but for someone who's on a ketogenic diet, that number, I felt fine. Every time I woke up, I felt fine. It was just afraid that can I go back to sleep? So I felt fine, and I did find out that those numbers don't mean anything unless you're not feeling well at the time that those numbers are happening, because otherwise I felt fine. So it really wasn't an issue.
And the other question I had for you was exercise. Are you doing any kind of exercise?
I just started doing exercise, and I had to take a break because I'm so out of shape. I'm doing there's I forgot the name now. It's on the YouTube channel. I forgot the name of the exercise person, and he does exercise for people with diabetes. It's just different bends and up with the arms, all kinds of, what do you call that kind of exercise. So, but I get a good workout. It's 30 minutes long, and I haven't made it to 30 minutes yet, but doing the longest I've gone is 24. So I took a little bit of a break because it's like, God, I was so sore. So yes, so I'm trying.
Okay. The reason I asked is,
Yes.
I was borderline diabetic. My father was diabetic. I have other diabetic relatives, and I know I was insulin resistant without knowing it. I had never heard of it before until Dr. Boz, and learning about insulin resistance really helped me in figuring out what to do for myself. And at first, when I went on keto, I didn't do, going to the gym every day or walking or anything like that. But once I had been doing it for like 3 months, then I started walking. And it's just a gentle walk. I take my little dog out. I didn't even get to a mile at first. Then I finally got to a mile. Now I can do up to 2 miles.
Wow.
But I found that if I walk in the afternoon, my dawn effect, that increase in insulin or sugar,
Right.
it just really doesn't happen. Now, on the
Wow.
days I don't happen to walk the dog, besides her being all whiny and whimpery at me, then my blood sugar does go up. But
Interesting.
I've never had a blood sugar of 200. So, when I say
Right.
my blood sugar goes up, it's over 100 in the morning, rather than being under 100. And so, I don't have a history of using insulin, so it's different for me. So,
Sure. I appreciate that.
I want to talk to Jen for a second. So Jen, you've been doing Dr. Boz's Continuum for 12 weeks. Have you added in exercise? Have you seen changes in yourself? Do you have any particular questions for the group?
So, yes, I have added in exercise. I do walk mostly. I also have a bike, and I've just been kind of reminding myself how to do that because the weather's getting nice and I used to love doing that. So I'm trying to finally spend some time tooling around the neighborhood. I have seen some changes. Mostly what I'm doing at the moment is I'm avoiding the scale because the scale and I have a relationship that's not healthy. And so I'm not doing anything there, but I have noticed that like I can see that I can see that I've lost some weight. My face is a little thinner and my clothes are a little looser, but it's slow and I'm okay with that. Mostly I'm focusing on the chemistry and the numbers. And I took a long time in those first, like I stayed very careful for a long time before I go to the next level. I'm just now getting to a place I got all excited in the beginning because I missed the meal and I was like, okay, now I'm ready. But I decided that I needed to slow down a bit. And so that's what I've been doing. The biggest reason that I wanted to come to meetings, I'm trying to find this, my last couple of weeks have been really stressful. My mother passed away. And so I've just been super stressed, like unbelievably stressed, and trying to manage with my father. And it just was, I knew it was coming, but it still felt sudden. And so I've noticed that my blood sugar, even though my diet hasn't changed, my blood sugar and my morning numbers, my Dr. Boz ratio, everything is so high. It's so much higher. And I think it's because of the cortisol and just the stress. I'm not sleeping well. And so in this last week, it's interesting that you started by asking me about exercise, because in this last week, I was like, I'm just going to take a walk. I'm just going to give myself 30 minutes and just go for a walk outside and breathe and look at the sky and, just be. And I started that, I guess Friday was the first day I did it. And I've been doing it every day this week and my numbers are starting to come down.
That's good. That's good.
So it's, yeah. So yeah, I think it's just been, I've been finding a lot of comfort in the routine of knowing what I need to do with checking my numbers and I'm just doing my best to find comfort where I can. And for me, routine is important. And so that's really where I'm at. And so every day this week I've been, since I've been home, I came home on Tuesday. So I've been trying to dial into a meeting every day so I can just
very good, Jen.
Listen.
Yeah. Our emotions can affect every part of our physiology, not just whether we're crying or we feel depressed. They affect everything. And it's so important to get something that routine is a very good idea when you're going through stressful times. Routine can give support and help. And then getting out and walking, just a gentle walk, gets us into that deep respiration, the deep breathing, which helps pass emotions and everything as well. And being sure that you get enough sleep and enough water, because water helps move emotions out and everything. So Jen, I think you're doing great things for yourself and watching your numbers and getting into a routine, and, just kudos. And I'm sorry about your mom. It still hurts, even though we know it's coming, and so, and Renee has her hand raised. So we'll go to Renee.
Well, I just wanted to first off, tell Jen my condolences for your loss, because it's really hard to lose a parent. I actually ended up having both of my parents pass away within 3 months of each other in 2013. So I understand it's an overwhelming thing. Just kind of a side note to you might want to be aware and cognizant of your lungs. I practice Chinese medicine, and profound grief is stored in the lungs and affects the lungs. Okay, so just be aware that you might be a little more sensitive to allergens and stuff that you might not normally. And then also, and this is kind of for everyone, anytime you're going through a really high level of stress, it's going to actually impact your spleen. And so that will give you, that's one of the reasons why we go through these sugar cravings and we want to eat, we want the sugar, because it's irritating the stress in our lives, even, even a good stress, by the way, stress of it, especially overt amounts of it, good or bad, affects the spleen. And that's kind of what makes us want to overeat or eat at all in cases when we're going through high stress stuff. So I think you're doing really good. And the follow-up to come into groups like this, I think you are doing yourself a huge, huge, huge advantage. And I want to give you kudos because you are doing all the right things to take care of yourself.
Oh, thank you very much, Renee. I appreciate that. And it's interesting that you said that about the allergens, because they have been driving me nuts. Like these last week and a half, it's like my skin feels like I want to claw at it from the allergies, the pollen. So interesting.
Well,
thank you.
Now your skin is actually related to your spleen, believe it or not, because it has to do with your blood. So that's another reason with the stress levels that you're experiencing, that does not shock me whatsoever that you would be itching all over. I've known people to go through stress and literally break out head to toe in hives.
Just from stress. Yeah.
Just from stress.
Thank you for sharing that.
Some foods that are rich in vitamin C to help you to strengthen your lungs. And then you might also look up foods that are lung strengthening. And that will help you get kind of over this hump while you're, as you emotionally kind of go through what you need to go through to grieve.
Thank you. I'm taking some notes there. Thank you very much, Renee.
You're welcome.
Let's go over to Julie, who needs to unmute, but I think Julie is out horseback riding. Are you out horseback riding, Julie?
No, I am out with my yearling colt, giving him some schooling.
Oh, okay. So you're task sharing. You're listening to a meeting and with your colt. What's the name?
It's Diesel.
Diesel. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Half Arabian, half quarter horse, born last year. Yep.
So how was your week this week with keto, Julie?
Oh, I tell you, since I got back from vacation, it's been a struggle. Just wanting to eat in the evening has been my worst thing. But, we got sick when we were down on vacation. And I think part of it was Amanda and I both just could not stop eating the sugar. It was there. And well, I tell you, they talk about that sugar craving and dopamine. It is so real. It's crazy how that does that to your body. And then you have to go off that detox when you get back, trying to get back on it.
Yeah.
But I only gained about 4 pounds when we were on vacation. And I'm just struggling to get that back off and get back on schedule with everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to touch in. Dee, I noticed you had a little furry friend with you earlier. Who was that?
She is named Miss Cat.
Miss Cat. Okay.
Yes, we are her 4th owner. She's had a lot of different names, and the only thing she ever came to was Miss Cat. So
okay,
that's who she is. She's 14, and she's quite heavy,
Oh.
a big girl.
We have some chunk cats too. We have a cat that weighs almost 18 pounds and another one that's 16 and 16 pounds. And they don't typically come in when I'm at a meeting because I lock them out of my home office here. This is my home office. And so I lock them out of here. And the dog stays upstairs with Scott. So she doesn't come into a meeting too often either. So anyway, Patricia, how are you this week?
Hi, good to see everyone. Thanks for being here. I'm fine. I did another 36-hour fast. Nothing new to report except that I took care of my grandbaby for 5 hours yesterday. And her mother sent all kinds of little, a meal and snacks.
Oh my.
And the little girl, she's 2.5 years old. And she ate everything that she had. And she said, I'm hungry.
Was it all very carby, Patricia? Was it?
Some.
Okay.
She can't have any cheese, but boy, pretzels and whatever, Cheerios and things like that, And I don't taste any of it, but I can see that it's not a good thing. But you don't want to teach a child not to eat if they're 2.5 years old and they say they're hungry. So I said, do you want some peanut butter? Yeah, peanut butter. So I gave her a little dish of peanut butter.
Okay.
And I don't know. I don't think she has an eating problem.
No.
But she's got a really good appetite. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a little bit hard for me to see her eating all those carbs, but I had to just forget about it. That's her life. That's not my life.
Yeah. In Dr. Boz's book, the Keto Continuum, I think she has a chart in there, or it might be in the workbook, I'm not sure, about how blood sugars go with, typical children and the usual American adult, and how they go in keto and stuff. And, with the way we feed our children, their blood sugar doesn't even have a chance to drop because we're always giving them snacks and stuff. And I kind of wish that I would have learned about keto when I was 20 and not when I was 60, and
but the thing of it is, you don't want to impose
no,
my sicknesses on a little 2.5-year-old that doesn't have any of that at all. And her mother is trying very hard to, she doesn't get ice cream, she doesn't get candy, but she's got a big appetite.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, what are you going to do?
but you do have to be careful when you're talking to other people, because people are different. And like, is it Dina's? I'm so sorry that you've been dealing with your diabetes. My sister has diabetes, and I mean, it's really hard to know how much to give yourself and how much to eat, and then you try different things, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I mean, people are different. People have real difficult situations to deal with, and you can't impose your understanding for your body on other people.
Yeah, it's very individual. We all have to learn what our bodies do and how they react and how to best treat them. And yeah, that's exactly right. And Demas does have a hard row to hoe because he's been diabetic for years and taking insulin,
20.
and it's 20 years. Yeah. My dad became diabetic in his early 40s. And so, yeah.
It runs in our family, so I was
Yeah.
doomed.
Well, I was told I was doomed as well. And I'm proof. I'm 60. I have not gone diabetic. I was headed that way until I found keto and Dr. Boz. And I'm going to beat it. I'm going to cheat that whole diabetes thing. I'm not buying into it. I will not allow it. And I found a way to do that healthfully. And so, Tammy, are you there? And did you have a good week this week? she may have stepped away because she's gone to non-video, but I saw her with her puppy. That puppy has grown quite a bit since we first started her, being in the group. So, Wilma, anything to add this week?
No, I'm just doing great. I upped my salt this week and it's helping me with my craving. So I'm doing great. Got my
good.
numbers under control.
Good, good. Yeah, the salt. I was upstairs earlier today and thinking about ice cream, and I'm like, where is the salt? Where is that salt? I need me some salt. But I had left the crystals downstairs, so I had to come down here and get them. And I'm like, man, because I just remember Dr. Boz saying I would slip salt into my pocket, into my jacket. Everywhere I went, I had salt. And I just need to remember to carry salt with me everywhere, because it really does help. It's crazy. Hi, Melody. You got any questions this week? Melody normally has computer issues, so she usually sends us her comments or questions in the chat. And I know she came in a little late this week, and that's okay. We're happy to have her here. Anybody else have anything? Demas, you mentioned some issues with your blood pressure. What was that about?
I was expecting that that my blood pressure, reading the continuum and just being in practicing the keto, I thought it would go down on its own. They said to be aware of it, and for a while there, it seemed to go down, and lately it's been climbing back up again. And she said, I'm going to see my doctor next week, but I'm going to ask him if I need to be on a particular medication for blood pressure, because she mentioned in her book that to be aware that could be an issue because it could drop too low. So I'm checking my blood pressure. I usually check it in the morning and I check it at nighttime. And I'm okay, and I'm still taking the medication, but I'm paying attention to it so that it doesn't drop too low. It hasn't been an issue though, so I don't know.
I had a pretty bad hypertension before I started keto, and it was not very well under control because my body and medications don't get along very well. And a lot of medications, I will break out in hives, or I will have heart palpitations or go into tachycardia or something with them. So I haven't been easily medicated for hypertension. And I expected my blood pressure to be the first thing I noticed with, going on keto. But it didn't happen, and it didn't happen, and it didn't happen, and it didn't happen. And I'm like, what's going on here, man? Because Dr. Boz talks about, within the first 3 or 4 days, that blood pressure is going to plummet, But then with more reading and more watching a bunch of other keto doctors out there, I found out that that a lot of people, there's a subset of people, and you, Demas, and me must be in that subset of people where our insulin resistance is the problem with our blood pressure. And so it's not our blood sugar number, it's not our weight, and it's not how many carbs we're eating, it's that insulin resistant factor. And once you can break through that with enough autophagy and ketosis, then that's when you can get into better numbers. And then the other thing with me personally is sleep. If I'm irregular with my sleep and I don't get enough hours, then my blood pressure creeps up. And then, of course, water. Water is very important to blood pressure. If you're not drinking enough water.
And I don't.
Oh, well, there you go. See,
I don't drink. I'm not a big water person. I've been drinking the
the BHB, the exogenous ketones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been doing that. Yeah. And I love that. So I've been drinking that and trying to get more water because I'm just not a water person. And
Mhm.
yeah, I need to be drinking more water.
Yeah, I used to not be a water person, but then, I just finally got into it. And now I know it's an essential thing for me and my blood pressure.
Yep.
So, you can work on that. The exogenous ketones are great. I can't personally take them because they have stevia and they make my heart race.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm one of those weird people that can't take the BHB, which is sad. But okay. Anyway, Patricia.
I wanted to make one more point. It was good news. I went to see the doctor and he did take my blood pressure last week. And no, not my blood tests today. And I reminded him, I said, do you remember, doctor, last year you were recommending that I take statins because my LDL was high. And I told you that I wanted to take the CAC exam instead. And he said, oh yeah. See, he has thousands of patients. So he sort of remembered me. So anyway, he looked up quickly onto his computer. He said, you got a 0. And I said, yes, doctor, I got a 0 on it. And I said, I told you last year that I'm not so concerned about the LDL. I'm more concerned about the triglycerides and them staying low. And he said, yeah. And I said, I'm not going to be surprised if my LDL is high again this time. And he said, he looked at me in the eye. He said, for a 71-year-old woman with a CAC score of 0, he said, I'm not at all worried about your arteries. I'm not at all worried. So sure enough, I got the results and I got a LDL of 151, which is high.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth is, with a CAC score of 0, there's proof that I don't have any artery blockage going on. So,
Which is
Wonderful.
great.
just want to mention that.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Well, that's fabulous,
Congrats.
Patricia.
Well, that the doctors are starting to understand that negates all of the statin talk right away.
Mm-hmm. That's excellent. Yeah. So for anyone who hasn't been able to read the chats, Melody said she was able to lose 7 pounds this last month, even though she was doing some cheating because of family birthdays and things. But she's still hungry all the time and she's struggling to find enough protein. And she's still working on getting her ketones back up from the cheating that she did. Melody is our member that is a vegetarian. So it is hard for her to find enough protein. And she does, because she doesn't find enough protein and enough fats for her, she does have a hunger problem. And she's starting to work on taking her dog named Sage to keto as well, because Sage has been diagnosed with a arthritic condition, and and she found some keto pasta as well, which is great. I found some keto little keto tortillas made with what's that called? Tapioca flour, and it's like 2 carbs a tortilla. And I had some of those with some cheese, and that was quite a nice treat, but it won't be something I'll be buying always. And I found those at Walmart as well.
Becky,
Yes.
Melody, have you tried the egg life wraps? They have 4 different flavors and it's eggs. I don't know if you eat eggs, but I'm going to guess maybe you do. I like them. I use them for tacos. I use them for enchiladas, just burritos. I use them a lot, and they don't have any carbs. They're made out of eggs, but they pretty much take on the flavor of whatever you want to put on them.
I
They do
make
have
I make fake spaghetti with that stuff. I turn it
Cut it
into
up?
fourths, and then I slice it very thin, and I brown it in some bacon fat,
Mm.
and I use that as my fake spaghetti.
Okay, those are
I love,
called
I think they're great. Egg Life, they're called.
Egg
Egg Life.
Life.
Yep.
Okay,
There's
so
four
Egg Life.
flavors. Original, which is plain, Southwest, everything bagel, and cinnamon. Now I've
Mm.
had the Southwest and the plain, but Rugby doesn't carry. Might look at levers there in town, because Rugby's levers carries them, Becky.
Oh, okay.
Over in the by the cheeses and stuff.
Okay. Just for those who are new to the group, Julie lives about 26 miles south and west in North Dakota from Scott and I. And my nickname is Becky, so that's why she calls me
Sorry.
Becky.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's all right. Well, I've not seen them. Scott, have you seen some tortillas called Egg Life at the Levers?
No, but the thing is, I don't even look at the tortillas though.
Yeah, he's not at all interested in tortillas. I, of course, am interested in all kinds of bread and tortillas that I shouldn't have. But maybe
They're
we'll
not
look.
cheap. They're not cheap.
Yeah.
There's like 4 or 5 for $5.
Okay.
But they're made out of egg whites primarily.
Mhm.
And
I
if
would-
you need something that sort of looks like a tortilla or a spaghetti strip, it's pretty good.
You know, I bet you could make your own kind of like a crepe with just eggs, you know? And
These are different though. These have
are
more of
they?
a texture of a wrap. They're
Mm.
different. I'm not real sure why. I know Amanda's used like eggs and then fry them and then use them like a pizza crust before. You just
Mhm.
put your pizza sauce and whatever toppings you want on it. Also, another thing is today I just sent off a test for my A1C. So I'm interested
Okay.
to see what that's going to be,
Okay.
because they have an at-home A1C that you can do now.
Yeah, a lot of at-home tests now, which really help people who are, you know, really trying to work on their own health and stuff. But, well, I'm going to check out those Egg Life. Now, I have seen on YouTube some videos of how to make egg white bread, where you take egg whites and you whip and whip and whip them, and then you bake it into a loaf. And there are certain ways to do it to where it is okay. Jen has to leave. Bye, Jen.
Bye.
We're going to be ending here very soon because I have to get on another Zoom. But you know, I haven't taken the time to try and make the egg white bread. Maybe after our vacation I'll do that. But I want to do that sometime. Anyway, anybody else have anything to say, Renee?
I did want to say I found a wonderful keto. It's not sold as a keto whatever, but it works for keto, and so it's a great drink. It has exactly 1 carb and no added sugars. And so if you kind of like to have the idea of getting a soda pop, so to speak, this is called, let's see if I can get it in the camera. There it is. It's called Accelerator, and you get it at the dollar store. Come into focus, crazy camera. There we go. But it's Accelerator, and it comes in different flavors. So this one happens to be orange mango.
Mhm.
So, but anyway, it might be something that you look up, and it was, you know, I'm thinking you get this, it's an entire 16-ounce can, and it's the entire can has 1 carb in it, but it's also real high in niacin, which is B3, B6, and B12, as well as magnesium.
Hmm.
So just an idea if you need a little snacky drink, and it's going to kill your carb load.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anybody else with any questions, any comments, anything?
I just wanted to say thank you. It was very nice. I enjoyed it.
Well, we're happy to have you, Demas. Anytime Every
Yeah.
Wednesday?
I'm not every Wednesday. I found you by accident, so that's what I'm thinking. I was like, where will I
Hap-
find you?
Happy accident. Now I will warn everyone, Scott and I are going on vacation the week of May 18th, which is 2 weeks from tonight, and we don't have a substitute. Julie, unfortunately, is scheduled to be working that night, so she won't be able to take over. So we won't have a meeting on the 18th. But other than that, we're here every Wednesday, 7 o'clock. Unless something happens. I mean, that one week we were under a blizzard, so, but we didn't lose power, so we were okay. But otherwise, we're here and we're happy to have everybody here, and good to see your faces or hear your voices and see some of your animals. We like animals, and, we're just here to help each other.
It appears that Dee is freezing to death.
Yeah, Dee does seem cold. Oh, you're
You're still
muted,
muted.
Dee.
You're muted, Dee.
Oops, no, still
There.
muted.
Okay.
There you go.
It's cold and rainy in Colorado.
Oh,
And our heat pump is out for parts. It's a brand new heat pump.
oh
So that it's well
no,
for it. We've
a
only had it for
brand
about
new
2
one.
months.
Oh no.
And so it's as warm inside as it is outside right now.
Oh, no.
Are
Bert.
you near the Denver or Fort Collins area, Dee?
Right between them. Yep.
Yeah.
Right between
Just
them.
went through there a couple weeks
The reason I
ago.
left was that was a phone call from my brother who lives in Fort Collins. So I don't get to talk to him often. So
Yeah.
I'm from Oklahoma, by the way.
huh?
I was born in Oklahoma.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Woodward, way
Yeah.
up there by the Panhandle.
I know exactly where that is.
You
Yeah.
can keep the traffic there between Denver and Fort Collins.
Oh, it's bad.
Yes.
It's
Even
awful.
my friends from Seattle won't drive here.
Really? Wow.
I bypassed Denver about 2 weeks ago. I said my daughter was having too much anxiety, and so I went out by the airport and came back in because I was like, oh, we got to get off of here.
Yeah.
It was no fun.
I do
Well-
have one good thing that I want to share real quick, and then I'll
Sure,
sign
go
off.
ahead. Mhm.
I finally got my blood sugars to consistently go below 100.
Yes.
Yay! I'm super excited about that. And I did my physical and I got my blood work back. My quote bad cholesterol is still high. Well, the overall number is high, but they're not worried about it. They said because it's always high. So I can't remember the name of that test that was mentioned. I
The
think-
calcium
was it
test.
Yeah, CAC, coronary artery calcium test.
CAC.
It's
Okay.
not free. It was $100. But it only takes 2 minutes. It's ultrasound. And they just check for artery under your neck there.
On your
It's
aorta.
$100 for me, but for me, it's worth it.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, good night.
All right. You should get more cats, Dee, so you can cuddle up with them and stay warm.
Well, we have one cat in our bedroom, 2 cats in another bedroom, and 2
Okay.
dogs out in the living room. And because one of those dogs is a cat killer.
Oh,
Oh no.
oh, no,
yeah.
that
Uh,
doesn't go
See ya,
together.
dog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my brother has 5 dogs and 5 cats.
Oh, wow. Okay.
2 cats and 4 dogs. Good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, good night.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good
night.
night.
Good night.
Thank you. Thank you, folks.